And we're back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Wanna Parlay podcast. I'm Lance Bell. Next to me is Jack Neuheisel. Jack, go ahead and tell the folks about Wanna Parlay.
In a shocking discovery, Lance, the Wanna Parlay podcast is brought to you by the good folks of Wanna Parlay, home of the $2 parlay and the world's richest parlay, where every week people are turning a $2 investment into $2,000 and walking out the door with it. Literally, as we speak right now, Lance, our guy Kevin Turner from Stillwater, Oklahoma, is on the ground at Arrowhead, having fun, getting ready to enjoy tonight's Monday night showdown between the Chiefs and Bucks. I'm sure he's trading phone numbers with Taylor Swift and her entourage, living the high life that we all, frankly, could do if you just hang around Wanna Parlay long enough. A lot of people like to talk about it, Lance. Wanna Parlay wants to be about it, taking care of its users and its winners like no other competitor in the marketplace even claims to, let alone even if they could. And we are proud to be the goofy voices and the ugly faces of this proud company. So thank you, Wanna Parlay. As always, on the Monday show, this is a Wanna heavy show. We are talking all things Wanna Parlay and the great winners of the week. We just talked about our boy Kevin Turner, who's on the ground. We also got Bianca up there in the box today, who delivered quite the performance on the parlay board and gave quite an interview here last week. But a couple other people that haven't quite got the shout out, Lance. One, Freight Shaker, a.k.a. D'Angelo Horn, winners of this weekend's main event and the proud recipient of 2,000 very real American dollars. My man dropped an 8-leg, 122.38 multiplier. So more math coming at you here, Lance, but that would have only won him $244.76. Anywhere else he would have placed that. And it was good enough for first place, which means good enough for $2,000 around here at Wanna Parlay. I'll ask the crowd again, why else would you ever place a parlay at any other place? For God's sakes, the payouts here are outrageous. Little wink to the audience as well. I'm not even sure we're making money yet as a company. This is all about you still right now. So keep winning that money while it's there and for the taking, for God's sakes. But talking more about our boy Freight Shaker, just kind of a chef's kiss here of a parlay as we go back and look at it, Lance. So you got your notes pulled up? Are you seeing it?
Yeah, I got my notes pulled up right here. I was doing a little scanning right before we talked about it. I'm a little blown away, Jack. I'm a little blown away.
Now, I'll say right out of the gate, a guy wants to lay down an 8-leg parlay and he's going to start off with 4 separate over-unders. That absolutely terrifies me. I can't think of anything less I have less of a chance at predicting than overs-unders. And he starts right out of the gate. He went Saints-Panthers over a 43, only goes to 45. So sweaty one out of the gate. Then he starts to calm down a little bit. He gets Dolphins-Bills over. That game was headed overtime even with that missed field goal. So covering the 49.5. Cake at 57 right there. Falcons Cowboys under 52.5. I can't believe I never even saw that line. That game was always going to be under that number. Got 2 offenses and 2 quarterbacks that like check it down and are comfortable with punting. So that game only goes for 48. Raiders Bengals over. I'm proud to say I was on that bad boy waking up Sunday morning. Saw the obvious play there. 65. Bengals almost cover it with 41 of their own. Arizona -2 versus the Bears. He faded the Wanna Parlay podcast and your genius foresight, Lance.
Hey, he's a smart guy. I mean, just to give a little on that game. Are you kidding me, Bears? Are you kidding me? That was pathetic. You keep going.
No, we can stay put there for a second because I've got thoughts too.
Kyler Murray did nothing incredible, nothing spectacular, and they won 29-9. Like, he was in check. Like,
did you see the play at the end of the game where DJ Moore kind of quits halfway through and he's sitting on the bench before the play's over?
I had the game off. Once, like, after the halftime, DeMarcado and that run play actually works. And in the beginning of that second half, I was like, it was a bad call by me. I didn't know what I was talking about here.
It's tough to hold that corner accountable for the Hail Mary. He did get a hand on it 2 weeks ago versus the Commanders, but we remember seeing the clip where he's kind of talking it up with the crowd beforehand. We got some lowlights here. And we just had our first head coach firing of the season in Dennis Allen, which, by the way, I'm not sure it was your fault, Dennis, but just let's keep it in the back of our minds. We're betting on the Saints this week. But I'm just saying, we got an interesting slate coming up here. That guy is officially hot. Brian Daboll and him are the names to be looking at right now as hot.
You're talking about the Bears guy.
Eberflus, correct.
Eberflus. What just an interesting name. I always feel like I get it wrong whenever I try, but you somehow just deliver it perfectly. Kudos to you, Jack. I mean, that's just good stuff.
As far as like overly white buried in some bullshit Western European country name, I'm usually pretty good with those. It's when we start getting to the poly names where I get tongue tied really fast. That's usually where I go downhill. Anyway, more bets here from our boy Freight Shaker. Derrick Henry, anytime TD. This one just should be attached to everything going forward. The guy's over 1,000 after 9 games. He scored 2 in this one. One was in the first quarter. That one feels really easy in hindsight.
Another game I was wrong. I really thought the Broncos would just hang in there, but just stomp like a fucking fly on the ground. Like just shit on.
Yeah. I thought we were going to see a better effort from the Broncos defense in this one, who, by the way, just traded away a pass rusher. So they're kind of an interesting spot in their season. But he also stayed that game and stayed on the Ravens offense. Took Lamar over 216.5 passing. He has 280, piece of cake. So yeah, that's all easy. And then the easiest one of the day, he had Saquon rushing, receiving over 108.5 yards. Saquon went for 159 on the ground alone, and put down one of the cooler highlights I've seen in my life. I'm still trying to grapple with it. What exactly I just saw.
I have no idea. I'd never seen. It's not only just like why I've never seen anyone do that. I've never even thought I'd needed to see someone do that, because the spin and then your backwards hurdle was incredible. Like the jump, the spatial awareness of it all, like it felt a little X Games. And honestly, he looked like a jungle cat who had been frightened. Like, you're not supposed to get that flexible and in that air and then find your feet at the end of it. That's not supposed to be within the realm of human possibility. That it was one of the most top tier highlight of this year. There's been the catches, but like from just a running standpoint, that might be it.
I've never seen anything like it. Like Ryan Williams for Alabama has provided some moments this year of just being like, what is that?
Yeah.
You're not supposed to be able to move like that. There are rules here.
How is that humanly possible? Like, what are we doing here?
I've seen people move my entire life. There's like a box that fits within, and these guys are somehow able to defy all logic and laws of physics. And
KG Little Joes, the Bears quit before halftime. I was hoping today I could see Eberflus get fired! Exclamation points. Oh shit, KG is not happy with the Bears. I know people who will coach the Bears for free food. He should change his name to Eberlose.
KG comes ready to the show.
Yeah. Boom. Yeah. Like, damn. Shout out KG.
Son of a fired football coach, nephew of a fired football coach, cousin to a fired football coach. I've been fired. It's fun for nobody. It's rarely entirely their fault, but occasionally when you lose the locker room and it feels like possibly that's the case, it's the easiest scapegoat to have out there. So, I don't know. There's a betting line. I don't know what information we have to make money off of here, but it's just sad. It's a bummer. It's really a bummer.
It is a bummer. Alex Stoles, our NHL guy, hopped in the chat. He's telling us NHL was good on the weekend, fellas. Sport, we're going to have you on tomorrow to talk about that. What do you think about that, Jack? That
would be outstanding.
Yep, that sounds good. Yeah, I am very much as well.
Yeah, I still need icing really explained to me clearly. It's one of those rules where it's, you don't get it till you get it.
I've learned that because of the video game, I will say. So on Tuesday when we talk about it, we'll get through it. But
yeah, every time I feel like I can wrap my arms around it, it goes changing again. I'm lost. But anyway, that Saquon highlight was the perfect highlight to end a highlight run of 8 consecutive picks for our boy. Congratulations on the $2,000. That buys you some pretty free, cool stuff these days. Maybe like a baller e-bike. Definitely a baller vacation or 2.
The e-bike, dude, I've seen those things flying around here in California, and they're insane. They're honestly a death trap, Jack. I'm going to be honest. These kids, I've seen kids, they're like 15, 16, and they're just they fly through red lights, stop signs. The world revolves around them. And I'm like, if I had these vehicles, or whatever you want to call them, these extremities at my age, when I was 15, I wouldn't be here, Jack. I wouldn't be here, or at least I wouldn't be able to talk with a straight face. There'd be something going on with me, because I would have gone down. I would have been hit something terrible, because these kids have so much freedom on these goddamn bikes.
That's why we can't have nice things. To some people, it's a very fun weekend experience, and to others, it's a walking DUI that we want no part of. We'll stay away. We'll stay clear. We'll use our own 2 feet to get from point A to point B for the time being, until the time we can avoid drivers. Other names worth mentioning off the Wanna page this week. Hey J 36, phenomenal effort. Usually wins you $2,000 around here with a big time 12-legger. It was still good enough for second place though, Lance, and 500 freebie dollars on a $2 investment. By the way, that only would have won him 232 anywhere else. So once again, Wanna Parlay crushing all other competition. Way to go, Hey J, for realizing it and taking advantage and placing your action here. RWB Your Mama, always a guy to look out for on the page with a nice bronze medal and $400 more than he started with. Papaya Punisher, amongst my favorite new names to see fly across the board. In fourth, goes home with 300. Basically, Lance, a hot week for the main event and all players here at Wanna Parlay. Real exciting stuff. I wish I could say the same for us.
Yeah, it's been just a slow grind for us, Jack.
Well, this whole law thing, this whole legal thing, we got to clear up so we can actually get our action back on Wanna. Because right now, you and me are just slumming it with the other regular average Joes who, history would tell you anything. They don't make money. We're trying to buck the trends here and trying to do something impossible. It'd be nice to get some of this action back over on Wanna, but I'll start with me. I'll take my lashings. I go 2 and 3, and I got to be honest, only one do I concede was stupid. Stanford plus 10.5 at NC State, yet that was stupid. I'm stupid. Can't believe I suggested this over the Indiana pick, which I toggled for a fair amount of time before the show started. But I'm dumb. That pick was dumb. The whole thing's dumb. Stanford sucks. I suck. Moving on. Another bet I lose. Duke plus 20 at Miami. What the hell? I mean, what the hell happened there? We're up 10 midway through the third with all the momentum in the world. I mean, as an SMU fan, I think I'm going to get the big-time loss that's going to propel us to the ACC championship. And somehow we still can't cover plus 20. End up getting beat by 23. A couple pick sixes and a lot of Cam Ward looking like the Heisman winner later. And we find ourselves where we're at. I should say I don't trust this Miami team. I think they're a pack of frauds. I think Mario Cristobal and this staff is extremely talented at putting together a culture and recruiting, but in terms of game day and game plan, I think they're so friggin' overrated. It's crazy. So I will not be touching this Miami team in any action until the ACC championship, where God willing SMU wins out, and I will put everything I have could possibly own, and the bank will accept I have on SMU.
Hey, that's fair. I mean, that was tough. That was brutal. That was tough. That was sick work. That was like they knew. Yeah,
and if that wasn't enough, also in that 9 a.m. start time for us West Coasters was Illinois plus 3 versus Minnesota. What the hell again? Honestly, I was looking for the back door, but Illinois battled these guys tooth and nail all day. We got the ball with a chance to go down and tie it. At the very least, we were going to take it to 6 or to be losing by 2 and be covering this number going into the 2-point conversion. We're driving. We got 1st and 10 on the 28 going in. Sack, fumble, game over. Ouch. So then I had to battle back and try to scrounge out two victories there in the morning. I stayed ACC. Louisville plus 10. They end up winning outright. I tried to tell you people, Tyler Shaw and Jeff Brom, amongst the best combo of coaching quarterback in the country. It's usually a pretty good indicator of who's going to win this game. I would argue Louisville is the best 3-loss team in the country. So watch out for Louisville to close here strong. Syracuse plus 4. It took me overtime, but I love me an OT victory. Thank you, Syracuse. Thank you, Kyle McCord. 1 and 4 on a lot of good picks would have been really a shame. So 2 and 3, not great, not awesome, but we move on. We take our lumps.
It is what it is. A one team. Does LSU have 3 losses, or do they have 2?
LSU has the USC loss and Texas A&M.
So just 2. Okay. You said so that the 3-loss team, and I was like, wait a minute. If the Tigers are in that one, keep going.
This week, as you bring up, though, LSU as a 2-loss team, they play another 2-loss team, Alabama, in Death Valley.
Ooh, wow, Jack. That's going to be some...
about to go through some carnage. Tennessee's playing Ole Miss, and then next week, Tennessee's playing Georgia. Or sorry, Georgia's playing Ole Miss, and then the following week, Georgia's playing Tennessee.
See,
We got some
so
targets.
I've heard some, like, the SEC isn't that good this year. I've heard people shit, like, kind of hating on the SEC. Jack, I'm still along the narrative that they just are gonna kill themselves. They're just gonna battle each other, and it's a lot more even throughout the top of the SEC. So
There's some cannibalizing going on here, and there's some decent teams there in the middle that I haven't given enough credit to. South Carolina and Vanderbilt are the paramount amongst both of them. I will never hear Kentucky's this powerhouse. I would take middle of the road other conference teams against them all day long. I have no fear there at all. So I've always argued that the bottom of the middle of the SEC is wildly, wildly overrated, but yeah, it's been cannibalizing itself up here. And the way the Big Ten schedules have set themselves up, because they took a page out of the SEC and stacked up another non-conference game, we're going to get Ohio State, Indiana to play against each other. But the big games are pretty much already set. So it really looks like, unless Indiana beats Ohio State, that the Big Ten may get 4 teams. And then how many teams is the SEC going to get? It's going to be very interesting to see how this all shakes out. South Carolina, Clemson's going to be a big game to come down the road. Texas A&M still has to play itself out. A couple inter-squad SEC games. But does a 2-loss, not even earning its way to the conference championship SEC team, knock out a SMU, knock out a Miami, knock out a, we'll see.
I just feel like no matter how many teams the playoff expands to, there's just gonna be angry people in this world.
Well, there's going to be angry people. The question is whether or not they have a legitimate case or not. Florida State had a legitimate case to be pissed off last year. Georgia, I thought, didn't quite earn it. They had a case, but you can go home and understand how you end up getting left at the door. This will be one of those years, certainly, where, were there deals broken ahead of time before we went to this 12-team model? Because the power players of the SEC and the Big Ten were very much in control of those conversations. And the SEC, who is used to getting 2 teams into the 14 playoff regularly, which is 50% more math coming at you, are they comfortable now going to 3 or less teams in a 12-team playoff? I don't see it. I feel like they thought they were going to get 5, maybe 4 pretty regularly. And all of a sudden, what holds up? Is it a 10-2 Alabama team versus 11-1 Miami team that just lost in the conference championship? What's better? I don't know yet. We're going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. I mean, honestly, we're just going to have to wait and see the results of everything before we even get into the argument. Yeah,
the details.
Exactly.
Walk me through the NFL though. You did okay. You kept us at 500. Thank you for going 3-2.
I did all right, and I'm just pissed off because the 2 losses, it's games I didn't even need to be near. Like, I could have just gone a different way, just left them at those. But man, going through Jaden Daniels, the hype train is still there, and I'm still following it, and I will be there next week. Broncos 8.5. I mean, you just got stomped. It's just brutal. Like, I don't know I didn't see the Ravens putting up 41 on the Broncos and the Broncos scoring 10. That's me, everyone. That's on me. That's my bad.
That was a strange one. I didn't see that in the stars either. I saw everything about this game said Broncos are going to go there and compete, and the Ravens are going to win, kind of a gritty one.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I thought, and I thought completely wrong, Jack. I thought completely wrong. But Rams -1.5. Man, that was a good game. Rams house, baby. That was so good. That walk-off touchdown. I mean, you see Stafford rolling to his left, puts a little touch, little French on it, just throws it out there. Robinson with the one-handed snag gets it done. I mean, that game was a grind. What were we down? 10.5, I think. That game.
Dude, every week I see what feels like the best catch I've ever seen in my life this season. It's getting to be quite absurd. That's a walk-off one-hander on a 50-yard ball. I mean, that was a freak play. Stafford with the little soccer celly. Went for the slide on the celly, which I appreciate. Yeah, Rams house. Way to go. Rams again. We said it a couple weeks ago. Look out for them to backdoor this division.
Yeah, no, I still fully believe in that. I feel like they're making a run towards the playoffs. They got a little health. Now, Puka's back on that little knee injury, knocked up his knee. I don't know what's going on there.
Thrown punch situation.
Yeah, that's what it was. Oh yeah, he got ejected. Oh, I completely forgot about that. I was thinking, I was so hung up on his knee that I completely forgot. Yeah, he got ejected from that game. I thought that was
Yeah,
soft, Jack.
he was on a limited snaps deal, so it was like confusing in real time, and there's not a great replay of it. Like the only thing I've been able to see is like the still frame of him throwing the punch. Um, but even that, yeah, I feel like it's soft. I think
Yeah,
it's soft.
I get an unsportsmanlike conduct. You do it again, you get out. I don't think you throw him out, especially Puka Nakua is now a star in this league. I just thought that was soft.
Yeah, there's a difference from what he did, which appeared to be like in the middle of a scrum. Two guys are going at it well away from the play. It becomes that petty bullshit of some shoving, some pushing. One guy throws a hand. To me, that's all within the realm of good competition. It's when you get the guy that kind of wants to jump into like an ongoing scrum and throw the sucker punch where it's like, okay, well, we can't have that shit because now they
Yeah,
have to respond and then we got a full out melee. Can't have that shit. You can't have the third party come in and throw the hand. But if it's two guys competing, going at it, and it gets a little away from itself, yeah, 15 yards, let's move on. Keep them in the game.
exactly. But hey, Rams came out, got the dub. It's all that matters. On to the next week. Lions -2.5 at Packers. I mean, the Lions look damn good, Jack. I don't see why you'd ever, even if it's a double-digit line, I don't see. I mean, obviously varying who they play. I don't see why you'd bet anywhere else.
This is kind of a make-believe stat because it's completely based on quarterback rating and no other context. But Jared Goff for the last 8 weeks just put together the best 8 weeks any quarterback ever has in history.
Jared Goff has like way more touchdowns and incompletions in those weeks. Like the guy is on fire, and it's Jared Goff, which honestly makes me pretty happy because I used to be a big Jared Goff hater, especially when we made the trade for Stafford. But the guy is on
I'm really,
fire.
really rubbing it in my buddy's face. We had a big Jared Goff versus Carson Wentz when they were getting drafted debate, and I took Goff hard, and now it's finally paying itself off. One of the few win-win trades you can think about in history where both teams really excited about what they walked away with.
Yeah,
Goff
no,
playing great. How could you be unhappy if you're in Detroit? You got that big haul, completely changed your team, the outlook of your franchise, and Jared Goff has been, since you took him, top 10 and at times a top 5 quarterback in the league. It's fucking crazy to say that, but that's just,
that's
the numbers
reality.
bear it
No,
out.
exactly.
Yeah. And then LA got a Super Bowl out of it and frankly look hot like they got a chance to go do something fun this year. So way to go Detroit, way to go LA, way to go both teams for covering.
Yeah, I mean it's just 2 thumbs up. That's all I got.
And then your stupid Bears.
Dude, the goddamn Bears. I'm sick to my stomach over this. I was just watching, I'm just watching Caleb, and I'm just frustrated because I'm like, man, you are just so great. You were so great in college. Just had the world. Go ahead.
The little moments are there. It's not yet terrifying. It doesn't.
Yeah,
look
no,
like
I'm not giving up. I'm not like giving up on him, but I'm like, man, some of these throws, you're just sailing it. Like,
yeah, the deep ball being as bad as it's been is shocking, and clearly it's everything's just. If you go back and watch the college film, everything got to take 2 more seconds. The clock just gets sped up a little bit. So I honestly think he'll adjust. They need to bring in an offensive coordinator that runs an offense that agrees with the way he plays football. And that's, if you want to get it out on time, that's fine. But let's stop trying to run like Shanahan concepts where we're going 3-man progressions. Caleb is a fucking point guard, and you got to play the game that way. Give him 1-man reads to the outside. Let's fucking get going.
Yeah,
Play with some pace occasionally. I mean, everything they're doing in Washington right now is everything Bears fans should be begging they should be doing in Chicago. It's just a little bit collegey of an offense, and then let the guy just go be special.
Exactly. No, I mean, I couldn't said it better myself. And especially, I'm so sick to my stomach over that halftime. Like, that run should have never broken off. Like, what are we doing? That is just not okay. Like, that's a
shame.
I get I understand Hail Marys because anything can happen. Like, it's just a tough play.
Well, and our boy KG in the chat said it right. That was the moment that broke him because second half they quit. Yeah, that was a full laydown. That was a bummer.
And honestly, it's understandable. That would have broken me too if I looked at Stu. Oh wait, KG Little Joe again. Is Jared Goff that good? Question mark. Or is it because he just has so much time to throw the ball with that great offensive line?
It's a bit of a chicken and the egg conversation here. What makes the other one great? Because Jared Goff's one of the few quarterbacks that plays on time. And so all of a sudden that gets deflating for pass rushers and all that sort of stuff. You get a guy that plays within the rhythm of the offense and the ball's out constantly, you start taking plays off as a pass rusher, especially when you start playing with pace, and you have the run game that they have where they can mix it up and they're constantly getting in third and manageables. I mean, this is what made Tom Brady so good for so long. And then it became a conversation. Matt Light and all these guys are Hall of Famers. Absolutely, they're stars, but it's a hell of a lot easier to do your job as an O-lineman when the offense is running in rhythm and on time with how the play's supposed to be called.
Jared Goff is playing his best football right now. He has all the weapons, all the O-line, but I don't want to take any credit away from him either. Like he is doing a fantastic job as the quarterback.
It's important. Like when guys like him succeed, when guys like Brock Purdy succeed, it's important. It makes the quarterback position more democratic. Not to say that I don't enjoy seeing the super athletes of people go and do it, but there's a lot of different versions of successful quarterback play. So when Jared Goff's version is this productive still, it gives such a wide variety of different guys coming up playing who are really good at the quarterback position, still an opportunity to be recruited and be noticed. You don't need to be a burner and be a dual threat. If you can play on time, throw the ball on time, and continue to pick up first downs, that's how you fucking win games.
Exactly. And he's doing it A plus tier right now. He's freaking balling.
It's cool to see. Good for Jared.
Exactly. That's what I've always thought about it. Because I remember after that Super Bowl where they lose to the Patriots, and I was so out on Jared Goff. I was like, get this man away. Like, get him out of this franchise.
Now, having said, if you can come and heat up the pass rush like that, that's what Jared Goff looks like. He has
exactly.
No
answer. So that's another thing to keep in mind, especially, when it's playoffs and an NFC championship, if he's playing another good team across from him or even the Super Bowl, people can start messing up this rhythm. Jared Goff looks like a completely different player when his rhythm is off.
Yes.
100%. But yeah, so that rounds up 3-2. Man, I just wanted the 4-1. I thought I could get the 4-1 this week, but that's 3 weeks in a row, 5-5.
I was going to say 3 consecutive weeks of 500 since we just started to really start putting our own money on this deal, which puts us down now $75 a big, which is just an absolute tragedy.
This is brutal.
It's crazy. I made the note on our notes here, Lance. I'm like, I think we're doing good. I think we're getting better. I think it's a tough time of the season. I do.
I'm going to be honest. The favorites, it's a favorites year, Jack. A lot of the favorites are hitting. It's like NFL and NCAA.
You know what? It might be worth doing this week is bringing in a guy that kind of bets like the Sharks do, where he's not paying attention to teams, he's paying attention to numbers.
Dude, and Wano, who just gave me a rant about that, was actually my father, Lanny. He's the one that just told me he's always in some pool or whatever the hell he's doing. And he's like, you know what? I just noticed all the favorites were winning. He's like, I just laid every favorite. And he's like, I was dead last and now I'm tied second. And I'm like, well, damn it.
I go back. Some of these lines, dude, like now that I look at this Broncos plus 8.5, what is Vegas telling us with the 8.5? That's a little bit of an I don't know. That's either a blowout, but they think it's at least a 1-score game. We were seeing that as a Broncos sitting there kind of in a field goal game. That's these kooky lines. We got to bring someone in that can make us make sense of it, because you and me are just looking at the narratives.
Yeah, no, I mean the 8.5. I was thinking they're betting on it's a either between a 1 possession game or 10. Like I'm thinking they don't know which one to lean towards. So I was like, oh, let's lean towards the 1 possession game. No, idiot! It get blown out by 30. Like stop.
You know what though? I'm going to stop us right now. This is how they get you. They get us tripped up. They get us guessing. It's not how we play, baby.
Nope.
We got the Saints money line this week as an absolute lock. I don't even know who the fuck they're playing.
Woo!
But we're going to be right back. And by the way, let's start that momentum train right the hell now, because we got college hoops starting tonight.
College hoops. Wow.
I'm big on college hoops. By the way,
I'm going to be honest.
I'm not ashamed to say, Caitlin Clark was not the beginning and end of my lady hoops fandom, by the way. I caught a little Juju Watkins winning late today against Ole Miss, cooking with 29. Girl had both nostrils stuffed. She was bleeding, just cooking out there. And the Lady Trojans made 17 consecutive free throws to ice out and beat Ole Miss by 2 and whatever the hell classic they're playing in, possibly Hawaii, possibly Paris. I'm
Yeah,
not quite
I know
sure.
what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
But
Juju's unbelievable. She's a beast. She could be in the WNBA right now.
Unsanctioned. I think it was like, I don't think it was an official game. I think it was more of an exhibition, but Paige Becker's going off as well. So, I mean, if I can find lines, I think there's money to be made over there. I'll take it. And for my money, it's not a bad watch. There's a lot of rules in lady hoops, especially college basketball versus men's, the quarters, the ability to advance the ball with a timeout late in games. There are elements to that make it a little bit interesting to get some action out there. So when I see opportunities, I'm going to keep the people informed. But we got some big time college basketball plot lines coming up. I don't know how you feel about this Cooper Flag kid. I'm so prepared to hate him. It's crazy.
You want to hate him?
Oh, I'm so prepared. I'm so prepared to hate this kid, like in a loving way, in a respectful way.
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
The next great white basketball player for Duke. No, I already can't stand this kid. He's gonna be a yeller when he dunks. He's gonna be big with the Cameron crazies. I cannot wait to root against this kid. And I should say, I'm an SMU guy. It's gonna be a hard year for us in our first year in the ACC. I can't wait for this game. I might go to it. I might chirp this 17-year-old just because I need to.
I'm gonna be honest. I mean, my college basketball knowledge is pretty low. I've always delegated out picks. I've always got reached out to people that I know better than me and how I've done college basketball. And it sounds like you know pretty damn well, Jack. So I'm gonna be reaching out to you. You're our college basketball guy. There's no ifs, ands, or buts on that. That you're the guy.
I'm happy to take that, and I'd like to throw it out to the chat as well. And if you know what you're talking about with college hoops, even if you just know your team and you want to talk about your team, come on, get in the waiting room, throw your camera on, and come talk to us for a little bit. One other plot line I want to point out before the season starts. Conference realignment. We have seen the travel issue be a thing in football. A bunch of these Big Ten teams having to take the big flight west or east. Same with the ACC. Stanford and Cal's got to go east. A bunch of these teams have to go west. These weird travel schedules. And college basketball, obviously, they're playing 2 to 3 times more games a week. I mean, sometimes you get 3 games. Sometimes you're almost always getting 2. So these flights are going on constantly. And I would imagine we're going to see for the first time these, kind of January, February elongated road trips where, you got to go play Washington, Oregon. And so you're going to go to the West Coast for a week and a half. That's a weird plot line that it's going to be the first time it unfolds here in college basketball. That's something we got to be early on. Dude, we got to have an idea, and we got to be early on that for these long trips and taking maybe the home dogs in these scenarios or whatever it may be. But it's going to be a kooky season, I think, in college basketball.
No, that's a super good point. I didn't even think that. I mean, I thought about it when we talked about it earlier, but I haven't even thought about it. But dude, these are college students. These aren't like professionals, so it's completely different. Like they're going to be traveling. They got school and other, like they have actual responsibilities because how many, there's this very small percentage going to the NBA and that can just rely on their hoops.
I so feel for college basketball staffs that have to police this as you go because NBA players, as far as I understand it, have free reign. Their social lives of NBA players are the social lives of rock stars. They're on tour the entire year. Yeah. College kids, you can't have that liability. We can't be going to Oregon and be like, oh, curfew's 2 a.m. Like, we'll see you then. No, some coach is going to be walking doors at 11. There's going to be some weird stories to come out of this year. One conference that doesn't have to travel a lot, SEC. I would imagine the top 25 when we get into February, when we start talking tournament, I would imagine the SEC is going to be littering the top 25 because I think these other conferences and these travel schedules, they're just going to cannibalize each other.
No, 100%. I agree with you.
So with that being said, we're well into a nice little podcast here. I think it's time we get some people some action that they can turn into some cold hard cash later today.
Yup.
So with that being said, let's start with our bread and butter. We're football guys, NFL. So we just talked about that 8.5. Okay. Basically the same thing. This 9 right here. I think Vegas is begging you to take the Bucks, and this is a banged up Bucks team. I think it's Chiefs -9 all day. And while we're taking that, give me the Chiefs over 27.5 as well. I don't want to mess around with the full game, although I do think the full game over will hit. The thing I'm most confident about here, I think the Patrick Mahomes disrespect is getting crazy out of hand right now. I think this MVP conversation is going back to Lamar Jackson again, like he's running away with it. And Pat Mahomes has always sacrificed some of his individual accolades to be a Super Bowl guy. He's made in the image of Tom Brady, and it's not about the MVPs, it's about the wins in February for this guy. But this is a guy that got voted by his peers the third best player in the NFL after going back-to-back Super Bowls. Like, I just at some point, this guy's going to put his foot down and absolutely go ball out and remind everybody who the hell is clearly the number one player in the NFL. And it feels like Monday Night Football against a Baker Mayfield, who he put up 55 against in a college shootout when it was Texas Tech versus Oklahoma.
I feel like there's expectation on Baker Mayfield in this game just as much as Mahomes, kind of like the showdown that they've always had. This is too much expectation on Baker. This is when he crumbles. Jack, I'm with you. Chiefs -9. Chiefs -9.
I love what you just picked up right there, because exactly 100%. Anytime Baker's put in this conversation, he's going to let you down. It's when Baker's like a shit, he can't play in the NFL, that he goes and balls out on a Thursday night game. Monday Night Football, putting head to head with Pat Mahomes.
Yeah.
Too big a stage. It's too big a stage.
Too big. Give us Baker, or give us Pat, not Baker. Baker's done. Oh, wait, KG
right?
Little Joe's. I don't like the over. It's been raining there all day pretty good. See quite a bit of running the football and a few turnovers.
Ooh, I did not have an up-to-date weather report. You know what? I stand by my picks. Kevin, it's a very, very well put-together rebuttal, and I so appreciate your takes. You've nailed the Bears action here. I'm sticking with my guns, though. Pat Mahomes, big hands in the rain. I don't care. We'll have the turnovers from the other end, and Baker Mayfield, small hands. Big talk in the combine, by the way. And we're going to be okay here. I like Pat Mahomes. I like covering the over 27.5. I think it's a fuck you game from Pat Mahomes. I really do.
And I think another week. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins had just gotten there, and he gets another week in the system. He gets to learn more. He's a big play receiver. And don't ever forget that DeAndre Hopkins. He's that guy, and I think he's going to show out this week. I might be sneaky looking at his overs. I don't have anything on paper. I can't tell you anything right now, but look at DeAndre Hopkins. I think he might have a play here. Those Tampa Bay cornerbacks are weak. They should make a move at this trade deadline, but right now, DeAndre Hopkins and the Chiefs, I can't believe I just said that, but Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they're going to stomp. I believe in the stompage, and I'm okay with being wrong on the side of Mahomes tonight. I'd rather just be on the side of the best player in the NFL.
I love that logic so much. All right, keeping us in the pro leagues. I got one NBA take I'm excited about tonight. Just one.
Let's hear it.
It's one you're going to be excited about.
Oh,
Lakers -6.5 at the Pistons. Okay. So this thing's tailor-made for the first Lakers blowout of the season. This is right to the point where bad teams start looking bad and good teams start looking good. And this is a Lakers team that's being treated like the Lakers teams of the last 3 years. That's been a kind of middling team that's vying for a play-in spot throughout the entire season. I think JJ Redick and LeBron and this whole team has taken stock of, okay, I think we've got one more real push at a championship here. We've got one more real push. The Nuggets appear to be floundering. This is the season. We've got one real chance at it before we've got to completely blow this thing up. And we're talking LeBron farewell tour. Going stadium to stadium and trying to get Bronny James minutes. This is a very serious season. Lakers -6.5 at a Pistons team that I'm supposed to fear Cade Cunningham, and I just don't. Hey, Lance, I just don't.
Not yet. I still believe in it, but the Pistons are such a poverty franchise that it's really hard to get wrapped around it. KG Little Joe's Bronny over 1.5 points tonight.
Honestly, line up those bombers, Kev, because if we get the blowout, we are going to get the Bronny James garbage minutes. 100%. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
I hope he's still traveling with the team. I think these are his last couple games before he goes G League. So hopefully that is the case. I love Bronny's overs tonight. I love it, KG.
Get Bronny James to a career 4 points tonight. That's the dream.
Wow.
And then last one I got for you, Lance. There's one good college basketball game worth watching tonight because everyone else is just playing dogs. It's the exhibition to get your season started. You want to go see Cooper Flagg play against his twin brother at Vermont, be my guest. But I will be watching Baylor and Gonzaga. And in a game I really don't know all that much about, other than I love both coaches, I'm going to take the dogs. The whole game feels like a pick 'em. I know Baylor had a very productive transfer portal window. I know they had a highly rated freshman class. The game feels like a pick 'em. I'm taking the team that's getting 5.5 points. And the last time I saw this much intrigue going into a Baylor Gonzaga game was a 31-0 Gonzaga team that got absolutely dog walked by Baylor. So it's a team that's going to come in unafraid. They're getting 5.5. Give me Baylor. I don't know much about the game. Just trust me and let's have fun on that one. And then everybody, the last pick, because I refuse to let anybody forget it. I've brought it up 5 times in the podcast. We are going to be betting on the Saints this week. Dennis Allen, you are not the problem. I apologize that you have been scapegoated, but this is just the way it goes. When a coach is fired, the team wins next week. Look at history, people.
We're doing it. We're doing it, and I love
Put
it.
the bet in tonight. Don't overthink it.
Dude, that is so funny. The goddamn Saints lost to the Panthers, man. Bryce Young really got a win.
I should have brought that up. Second game, it was the second game they played against each other. The Saints were coming off 6 consecutive losses. Bryce Young absolutely needed a win before he was on some sort of help me watch. That thing was coming. That was a weird one. We should have had eyes out for.
No, that's a great call. But your college basketball pick, dude, I love it. I mean, you convinced me. I don't know. I don't even know the coaches. I just know Baylor and Gonzaga have been competitive recently in college basketball, and you talked me into it.
Let me throw one more stupid narrative at you. Scott Drew and Mark Few are the 2 head coaches. Mark Few, head coach of Gonzaga, was a part of the USA basketball team, the coaching staff this summer. So he's been away from the team. In months that he usually wouldn't be. He was away from the team.
Okay.
Does that mean slow start for Gonzaga? Probably not. But what the fuck? We're looking for reasons. Go fucking Bears.
Oh, KG. He says, yeah, his passport picture was approved. He's talking about Bronny. KG, your slander of Bronny will be remembered. I just want you to know that. When he's an all-star for the Bulls, for your Bulls, I'm pretty sure you're Chicago, so once he's an all-star for the Bulls on the most random narrative that I'm now going to start believing, I'm gonna remind you. But Jack, I love the picks. The only pick I'm putting out there is basically I'm with you. Chiefs -9 and Lakers -6.5. Those are my 2. Keeping it simple. It's Monday and Tuesday. I mean, you already know I'm gonna hop in. We're gonna have close to 20 picks, so
yeah,
we'll be ready to go.
Love it. That was the Monday Wanna Parlay podcast, people.
Wait, KG. If he plays for the Bulls, I'll pick a new team. All right, call the show. Cut the show.
Once again, Freight Shaker went home with $2,000 last night. Way to go, dude. Couldn't be more fired up for you. And everybody else deserving of mention. Hey, J36, RWB Your Mama, Papaya Punisher, all big time stuff. KG in the chat tonight, always firing. Love you, pal. Big time stuff, Wanna Parlay. We will be back here tomorrow with our regular show, giving you picks, acting like idiots, what you come here for. And as always, can't say it enough. Thank you to the folks of Wanna Parlay. They are the people that bring you this show.
Yep. That's about it, folks. That's our wrap up. Give you a salute, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.